Welcome to my YouTube channel, guys. So today we're going to try to make a terrarium. This is obviously the terrarium I'm going to use. It's like this nice little pyramid shape and it can be opened with this little door hinge. Let me show you, like this. So you can open it up. So the rest of the materials that I'm going to use is of course some moss. Moss is always a nice addition to any terrarium. Maybe I'm going to use this, I don't know. It's like these decorative stones in different thickness. Same thing in black. And then we have some other plants. Those don't look very well. But if you can see here, there's actually little ones growing out of dirt, and those will look really nice eventually. Same thing with this. It's just a fern, but you can see here there's new ones coming out and those will look really nice with the time. Then we have some stones. We're going to use that at the bottom of the terrarium to have some filtration system. Then of course some dirt and some charcoal, some meshing net, like a mosquito net. It's made out of metal but it won't rust. So we'll be using that at the bottom of the terrarium. So something I forgot to mention is that the front of the pyramid doesn't have any edge. So I'm going to have to make one. I have some aluminum here. I'm going to cut it up so that I can make sure that no dirt or stones or plants or anything can fall out of the terrarium. So let me try to do this real quick. So to cut this aluminum, and I'm going to use this box cutter to cut through it. It's only 1 millimeter thick, so it should be going pretty easily. See how easy that went? I'm going to do the same for the other side. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, maybe cut off a centimeter or two, so it's a little bit more aesthetic. Okay, I think that's perfect. So personally, I think that aluminum is taking a little bit too much of the attention away of the rest of the terrarium. So to make it more like blended in into the terrarium, I think I'm going to spray it with some matte black spray paint. So let me do that real quick. Now, whilst the paint is drying outside, we're going to continue here. So one thing I need to do, because in between the edges of the metal you can see there's a little gap. So if I were to just pour water in the terrarium and I put too much in, it will go through these gaps. So we need to close it up with some silicone. So that's what we're going to do right now. Just some simple silicone. So the next step would be to put some stones inside of the terrarium, but I think that I'm going to put some plastic in first so I don't damage the glass. First I take some plastic and I will be putting it at the bottom so I can measure it out. Okay, so now that the plastic is in, you can start laying the stones on it. These stones will be used as a filtration system so that the water can re-evaporate. These stones are a little bit too big, so I'm not going to use them. Maybe I can use them for landscaping later on. Okay, perfect. Okay, next up we're going to make a thin layer of charcoal. I don't have a lot here, but it will do. But first we need to, of course, smash it to bits, because these slabs are way too big. Actually, might need a bigger hammer, so let's do this. The charcoal will act as a way to filter the water and also helps against mold. So it's a nice addition, but you don't really need it. If you don't have it, you can do without. Okay, now let me clean up this mess. If only it was this easy in real life. Okay, so now remember this little piece of aluminium that we had before? I painted it matte black, so I think it looks really nice now. So this is what I'm going to use for the ledge at the front of the terrarium. Look at this. Beautiful. So now I just need to put some silicone so that it stays in place. So let's do this. The next thing that we will need to do is take the mesh that we showed before and make a square that will fit into this, so that we can separate the stones and the charcoal from the dirt. So I've cut the mesh into a perfect square. Now we have to try to get it in. It's a perfect fit, so that's great. Okay, next up we can put the soil on top of that. So in the meantime, because the silicone here isn't fully dried yet and this is still not really sturdy yet, I'm going to use my hot glue gun to fortify it a little bit here and here, so that I can continue working, because I don't like to just wait. That this ledge is better attached, you can start putting dirt into it. The next step is probably the hardest, because this is a step where you need to lay out different materials and just make it as nice as possible with what you have. But it's also the part where you get to be creative. I'll first give it a nice watering so that the ground is nice and moist. Let me try to put some of this white sand in there. I think that's enough of the white, maybe trying some black. I don't know if I like it, but might as well try it, right? So next I'm gonna add some more moss into it. So now I think I should add the fern into it. Maybe somewhere in the corner. Okay, so it's starting to look like something more natural. So I have this other moss. I think it's named Cat Star or something like that. I will try to put it at the back also. I was told that this one doesn't work as well in terrariums. It rarely grows well, but I still want to try it out. If it doesn't work out, you can still take it out and put in some other types of moss. Okay, next thing I want to put in is like this little fern. And when you look at it, when it's full grown, it looks something like this. And when it's fully green, because this one is dried out, but when it's fully green, it's really beautiful. Where will we put this one? Here at the side, maybe. Oh damn, no. What the hell is this? Holy shit. That's the fun part. Yay. Okay, bye. Okay. This is what the terrarium looks like 1 week after we made it. Okay, so as you remember in the beginning I placed a little fern in this corner and it wasn't grown yet, but right now you can see that it started to grow really well. And then at the back you can also see that this moss that I was talking about before, it doesn't grow really well in the terrarium, so I think I'm going to have to take it out because it's starting to brown, but I will wait a little bit longer for that. In the meantime, I still think that this terrarium could look nicer, but how could we do that? Well, personally I think that adding a light into it will make it nicer. Okay, so let me show you how it would look like with a little light in the terrarium. Something like this will make it look way cooler. So, now that I've got 4 pieces, I need to, of course, put them together. So I tape them together and then everything goes right. Yes. Okay. So now that I've got this nice little pyramid, I can try to, of course, glue it together. Next up, we're going to spray it so it looks like the bottom half of the terrarium and it's the same color. Okay, so this is the little pyramid shaped top I made so we can put light in it. Now, we just need to find a way to fix a little lamp into it. and we can access the red button here at the front. So you can just push it on and off like so. Also, we need to find a way to attach this piece to the top of the terrarium. So I think I'm going to use a piece of wire and craft something together. We'll see. So made 4 of those little hooks. I'm going to try to use inside of the pyramid and then attach them all to the top of the pyramid. But you're going to see how I'm going to do it. So this is what I come up with. I hang some iron wires through the top and I'm going to glue them to the top of the pyramid. So that's how it's looking like on the inside. Little wires that are going to hold up the whole structure at the top. But first we need to put the light in. So I managed to get the light in there without it falling out. So that's perfect. Now we can try to get this in there and then attach this bottom part. So right now this is what I've come up with. I will try to hang it here at the top. Oh, hello kitty. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you're subscribed, as for next week we're going to make a bigger terrarium with a dimmable light built into it, and there's going to be a waterfall with a little water pump. So make sure you're tuned in for that. And as always, thanks for watching.